Hey there, Sovereigns. Monica Grace from cardreadingqueen.com here. Today's topic is I committed to the journey and my twin soul committed to someone else. We're going to talk about why it happens. So I've heard countless stories of this. You possibly have too. The gist of the story is that somebody commits to their twin soul, and that twin soul commits to somebody else. Like, for example, you commit to your twin soul journey, and then that person, gets engaged or something, something like that. Or it could be like that person has a baby with somebody else or gets pregnant with somebody else. It could be that person takes a job that is somewhere far away from you. Like they maybe live in your current town, and then they decide to, you commit to them, they commit to their career. And it could be all sorts of things. So what's happening here, a lot of people think that the way to get your twin soul to commit to you in the physical is to commit to them. So for example, people think that if let's say you guys are both in relationships, if you break up with your person, then they will break up with their person. And that it's, that's how the journey works. Or if you move to where they live, then they will move to, or they will be there, and you guys will be able to be in contact or whatever. Or you move there and they will commit. I'm trying to think of some other examples. You just decide to work harder at your healing, and they will break out of their relationship if you just commit more. Stuff like this. And so what's going on here is that the twin soul relationship and the dynamic between the twin souls, it's not physical. It's all energetic in terms of the core choice that the two mirror to each other. So, for example, if you're both in relationships and you break up with your person, they are not going to necessarily break up with their person. What's going to happen is whatever the energy is of you breaking up with your person, that energy goes up to the 5D. So it's or I guess it's already in the 5D. But so you break up, that's the physical thing that happens. The energy of it is, whatever it is, then that energy goes over to them in the 5D, and it's mirrored. And then in the physical, they will do whatever is related to that, whatever that energy is, they will then act that out. And of course it happens quickly because you guys are mirroring the choice at the same time. That's why stuff like you break up with somebody, your person, and maybe you break up with them. If you're breaking up with them out of peace, then that's great. But if you broke up with them because you're clinging to your twin soul, then that's going to be a problem. Or if you broke up with them because you're trying to control your twin soul, then that's going to be a problem. So the energy then would be control and clinginess and neediness. And so then that gets ported over to that person, or you guys are mirroring that. And so they're going to do something controlling, needy, and clingy. And so what might they do then? As a result, they might get very like controlling and needy to their current relationship. So that's why something like you break up with your person can happen, like that's what you're doing, but then they seem to commit more deeply to their person. they're not committing out of love, they're committing out of that same energy of clinginess and neediness. But it's just, they're just projecting it onto that person that they are in a relationship with right now. So that's what's going on there. It's really the energy and vibration is still a match, but it's manifesting itself in the 3D in two different ways. But at the core, the two of you are making the same choice. So that's one example. So what if, though, you know that you are, truly just going deeper into your commitment to your twin soul and to your twin soul journey? So what that would be is, you have the energy and vibration of commitment. And so, that kind of like do goes up to the 5D, then do goes over to your twin soul, and then do comes down. And then what happens in the physical is they're also going to choose the energy and vibration of commitment. And what might they be committing to? If you are committing to yourself, for example, like you are committing to the thing you want the most, which is your twin soul, and you are making that commitment to do your healing work and love yourself and all of that, then they will basically have the same energy and the same core choice, and they may be doing the same thing. But for them, loving themselves may be that they are gonna go against what their parents want, or go against what their girlfriend wants, and take that really great job opportunity. Or like they are feeling, insecure. And so in order to love themselves, they want to build more security. So they're going to take that cool job offer. It can be the same thing. It's really the energy of what it is. It can be the same thing with like a relationship. So, that energy of commitment is there. And so suddenly that twin soul, your twin soul, has expanded their ability for commitment, which is, exactly what you're doing. They've expanded their ability to commit to love. And so, but they are just projecting that onto their current relationship. So they're like, oh, I feel inside myself an expanded ability to commit to love. Here's my girlfriend who I've been with, or here's my boyfriend who I've been with, so maybe I'll ask them to marry me. And so it's just, and I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's just like, it's really just that they are feeling that same energy, and they're projecting it onto whatever is in front of them. So in that case, you've done, a portion of the healing work, a big portion of the healing work, which is that expanded commitment to love. And what that twin soul of yours is missing would be like, the ability to see the truth in the situation. Because, if they are projecting that commitment onto basically whoever's in front of them, that's like an area where they're not loving themselves. And not like willing to see the truth, because, clearly that person would not be their twin soul. So like there's still some healing to do there. And really, that's the question, right? Because when something like that happens, it can kind of cause some triggering and upset within you, because you expected a different result, basically. And it can make you feel very frustrated, very resentful, very angry. So really what I want to say about that is that this situation, like all situations, is just reflecting something back to you. And you can use that reflection to know your next move on your twin soul journey. So when something like this happens, there's really only one of two possibilities. The first is that this person is definitely your twin and you're correct about your twin. You're not having a false twin experience. Because I think a lot of people would think that, like, oh, I committed and then they did the opposite. Like, they must not be my twin. So it's possible that they are your twin, and that, you know, the two of you just had the same core energy, that expanded commitment. And so now you're facing, you know, so they had the two different reactions, or the two different manifestations of it in you versus your twin soul. And then now you're at your next upset, or your next trigger. And something that the universe does sometimes is that it tests whether this is what you really want. And it does that in order to love you better, to firm up your commitment. So sometimes, you know, you've committed fully to the twin soul journey. The twin soul then does something else, like commits to their current relationship or whatever it is, which of course then shakes your commitment, because you were expecting, like, oh, I'm committing to them, I expect them to commit to me. And so it's just kind of testing you to see, like, okay, are you actually committed to your journey, or were you just trying to use the commitment to control the situation, or to control your twin soul? So that could be the thing that's happening. The other thing that could be happening is you have committed to your journey, and thus you're going deeper into your journey. And then that twin soul, or the person you believe to be your twin soul, is making a different choice than you. And, you know, because of that, you can then realize that may be a false twin. And so the way to discern that, I think the number one way to discern anything is always to trust your intuition. So definitely do that first. But what I have seen, it really depends on whether the choice is on the surface versus a core choice of their soul. And that's where I think you can see, like, is this real or not, I guess. And that's kind of the best way to think about it. And so is the choice... So how do you tell if the choice is surface? I'm trying to think of an example. So I would say, like, you know, here's it's really about intention. It's about what is the person's true intentions. So if you can look at that twin soul and see, like, oh, they have committed to expanding in their love for themselves, but they're just projecting that love onto their current relationship, even though it's a terrible relationship, then that could be like a very surface choice, where it's like, you know, that if you just keep doing your healing, then you will, you know, that engagement will fall apart easily, versus like you are going deeper into peace and love, and they are very much choosing, you know, something that is not peace and love. So they're choosing like a drug addiction, or they're choosing, you know, to run away from you, or they're choosing to be happy elsewhere, to build their lives elsewhere. And it's very clear energetically that they are not, you know, making the same core choices as you. So all of that is a little, I feel like I'm not giving a fully, a fully clear answer, because I think it's tough, because it really does depend on the situation. It depends on the energy that you're feeling. And that's where, you know, I feel like I've given some examples or information, but I think that's where you go back to your intuition and discern. And if it's okay if you don't fully have an answer after you think about this or feel into this, it's okay, because all you have to do is know the next step. So you don't have to like know, okay, this person is for sure my twin, or this person isn't my twin. Basically, if you think that person is your twin, until you fully release them, it's completely safe to keep working with that situation as if that person's your twin, even if they end up being a false. So if that person, if that situation is triggering you, and then you're guided to continue looking at it and say like, well, they decided to be with somebody else, or they committed more deeply to being with somebody else, how can I go deeper into my healing around that? And how can I bring myself to peace with that? And if if you're able to do that, or if that's your next step, I guess, then that's good. You're still moving forward on your journey. So it's completely fine to see the core choice manifesting very differently. It's completely fine to ask yourself or question, like, maybe this isn't my twin soul. It's completely fine to go deeper into the healing of that. And then it's completely fine to continue to do that until you have a clear answer, like, this person is definitely a false twin, and I've definitely released them, and I'm definitely at complete peace with releasing that person from my reality. Until you get to that point, it's fine to like just keep going deeper into your healing. So if this is happening to you, if this is something you're experiencing, the best answer is to, continue to reflect on that, continue to look within, continue to heal your own upsets, and just see where that situation goes. See if it provides you more information. And of course, as you heal, it's always going to provide you more information until you hit a point where you have fully released that person. I think that's all, and that's everything I can say about this. If you have questions, definitely feel free to leave me a comment. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you, and have a beautiful and blessed day.